Hello and welcome to today's Rocksmith developer stream. I'm your host and the community developer on Rocksmith, Doug Lilly. And today we are extremely excited to play for you 3 new Stevie Wonder tunes in Rocksmith. New to Rocksmith, they're not new Stevie Wonder tunes, but they're new to us. So these are 3 added to the one previous Stevie Wonder track in the library. So today we're going to take a look at those 3 songs. We're going to talk about the creation of those tracks. We're going to talk about music in general. We're going to give away some prizes. And if you have questions for us, make sure you reach out to UB Jurassic in the chat. That is Brian Turner. He is our community manager, and he will take those questions from you and deliver them through the magic of the internet to me. And I will answer some of those throughout the stream. Right now, let's go ahead and take a look at the 3 new songs from Stevie Wonder in the Stevie Wonder Song Pack.
Very superstitious, writings on the wall. Very superstitious, let a doctor fall. 13-month-old baby broke the looking glass. 7 years of bad luck, you put things in your past. It's those days good, come back once more. Why did those days end? How you go? It's those days good, come back once more. Why did those days end? How you go? 'Cause I love them so. Brother said he's telling, aren't you playing doctor with that nerve? Just don't tell and I'll give you anything you want in this whole wide world. Mama gives you money for Sunday school. You trade yours for candy after church is through. Smoking cigarettes, writing something nasty. Seen a lot of things in this old world. When I touch them, there is nothing, girl. Ooh, baby, here I am. I'm still delivered. I'm yours. I'm yours. Ooh, wait, baby, you set my soul on fire. That's why I know you're my only desire. Ooh, baby, here I am. I'm still delivered. I'm yours. Here I am, baby. Whoa, you got the future in your hair, baby. Here I am, baby. You got the future in your hair, baby. Yeah, I've done a lot of foolish things that are written in me.
There you go, 3 songs from Stevie Wonder. Let's go ahead and say hello to our first guests of the show. To my left, Francois Luong. Welcome back.
Hello, Doug Lilly.
Hello, hello. It's been a while, I think, since you've been in that stool, that chair.
Perhaps.
Maybe
Yeah,
a bit.
maybe.
It's nice to have you over here.
Thank you.
Way over there. Hey, Brian Chu.
Hi.
Hi. How's it going?
I'm
You're so far.
well.
Oh, good.
Why is your guitar missing 2 strings, Brett?
Yeah, what's going on here?
I am playing something called a bass.
Bass guitar?
A bass guitar.
Bass guitar?
Yeah.
Does it sing when you mount it on the wall?
Sometimes.
Cool. Mine does. Yeah, you're playing bass today.
Yes.
Francois, you're playing the rhythm path. The song that is going to be first is Signed, Sealed, Delivered. I'm yours. Now we were talking. You kind of jumped on this song when it came up for grabs, and you had the choice between the lead and the rhythm path. You played through them. You chose the rhythm, and why was that?
The lead path is mostly
It's like a sitar thing. It's very drony. It
Yeah.
just plays this one note over and over again, for the most part, with a few embellishments here and there.
Yeah.
So the rhythm guitar is just kind of a composite, like between it's the harmony of the song plus a couple moving bass line things and just like outlining the harmony basically.
Okay.
So it's
So it's sort of a best of.
it's kind of a well, it's not a best of because a best of is usually parts that exist within the guitar
Sure.
part that exists and then you're compiling them together. This is more of a humming strummy type like
Okay.
kind of fabricated part, but it
Yeah.
fits well with the song.
Sure.
And it feels fun to play.
Okay.
it
Yeah.
was fun to play. Indeed.
Good. And I know this pack, all the songs in this pack, should appeal to the majority of our bassists. I would say
Yes.
this at the very least.
The Stevie Wonder stuff has amazing
Incredible
bass
bass lines.
playing. I mean, some of it is key bass as well, but it's really cool to learn like what a key bass player is doing as well.
Right. Learn those
Like,
new shapes.
Yeah, because a keyboardist will do a lot of technical things that like a regular bass player may not be used to or aware
Right,
of, and
right.
kind of transcribing that and learning how to do those things might be pretty beneficial to someone trying to
Adding
get
some
into
more
this
stuff to your
music.
bag of tricks. So what are we
Yeah.
looking for in Signed, Sealed, Delivered
Um,
on the bass?
it's just very Motowny. Like a lot of these songs, a lot of what's very prevalent in Stevie Wonder bass lines is a lot of use of chromatic notes to get to the next root note. A lot of kind of the scale leads into the next root note you're trying to get to.
Can
and
you
stuff
explain
like
what
that.
a chromatic passage is? for those who
Chromatic
don't know?
passage is basically when you're playing semitones in order with each other. So like if I just played, that'd be chromatic scale.
Yeah.
And you
just
can also play it
half
across
step,
the strings.
fret by fret by fret. I don't know if that's getting picked up in the mic. We probably
No.
maybe after the song
I'm
we'll
pretty sure people
revisit
can-
those concepts.
Yeah, you can
Uh,
do that.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a
Dude,
look.
I could play
Oh.
the fastest chromatic scale ever.
Is it a slide?
Damn it. All right, let's get into this one.
Sorry, I ruined your joke. This is signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. If you have questions, please once more reach out to UB Jurassic in the chat.
I'm so used to reading the top.
Oh,
I was reading the top.
little improv
Yeah.
section there. So yeah,
Licks.
really. I mean, all these songs are really fun.
Super fun.
Especially as a bassist.
Mhm.
I'm jealous of everyone who's going to be sitting over there today. This
Yeah.
week. But yeah,
Yeah, and I
fun
want
tunes.
I definitely want to stress, like, if you're a guitar player that normally plays guitar but you have access to a bass, play bass, because
Yeah.
it's fundamentally a very different approach of playing with a band and sitting in the pocket, because like the bass player has so much more, almost has more responsibility than the
Right,
than
right.
the guitar player to keep things together.
It's like the song
So-
could fall apart.
yeah, and I find
This is in-
myself, whereas like with guitar playing, sometimes I can be a little bit floaty with my time feel. Like with a bass player, you really have to be on it. Like you have
Yeah.
to arrive to the root note of the chord progression, or whatever notes that you have to play, like exactly in the right time.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a lot less room for error, even though it seems like a simpler instrument to play because you're not doing these
The chord
chords,
shapes.
right?
But you might be doing the chord shapes.
You could be, yeah.
Pretty often. Let's hear that chromatic scale.
Okay,
The
yeah.
fastest chromatic scale. Oh, I guess you need. Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, chromaticism.
I'm
Just
the fastest bass
it's-
player in the
it's
world.
just half note, just half note by half note by half note up
Yeah.
up the neck, and that's yeah. So there's a lot of that with those lead-ins. Fun tunes.
They
yeah.
are.
Yeah. Right now, I think it's time for our first giveaway of the stream.
Raffle.
So we're gonna do a raffle.
Can
everybody.
I win?
You cannot win.
Oh.
Neither can you.
Oh.
Sorry. Nobody in this room can win. Sorry, everybody behind the camera.
Why?
I can see the disappointment on your face. But you,
I hate this
you
now.
in the camera that I'm talking to right now, you can win. To do so, please listen to what UB Jurassic is about to say in chat right now. And if you win, you can win everything that you see on your screen now. You're going to get 2 sets of strings. You're going to get a 6-string set and a 4-string set for your bass, both regular slinky. You're going to get a dozen picks from Ernie Ball. You're going to get 3 Spectrum Plectrum picks from us here at Ubisoft San Francisco. You're going to receive a black Ernie Ball guitar strap, a package of Wonder Wipes to use. You can use these to keep your strings lasting longer by keeping the oils and dust off them. Keep your neck and body polished and fresh. You can also get you're going to get an Ernie Ball peg winder. All that you'll get if you win. And if you are selected as the winner by Moobot, Brian, that's UB Jurassic, will reach out to you in Whisper to get your name, your shipping address, and your telephone number. As always, we need all of that information in order to get your prize pack to you. We do ship internationally, so if you're not in the United States, you can win. And if you win and send in your information to Brian, I just ask that you break up your address line by line so that I don't get it wrong, because I don't like being wrong if I can help it. I don't like sending packages to wrong addresses. Those are all things that I don't like. So as a personal favor to me, just break up your address. It's cool. I appreciate it when you do that. So yeah, Brian Turner is hosting the raffle right now. He's also taking questions from you in chat, probably not while the raffle is going on, but later on we will get to some of the questions that you've presented. Once again, that is UB Jurassic, Brian Turner. He is based in North Carolina. He is your community manager for Rocksmith. We are, I think, good to go for the second song of today's stream, another song from Stevie Wonder. And to play the song, a couple of faces that we don't see as often as we would like, perhaps. But maybe that can change. Hello, Brian Pody and Travis
Hello.
Kindred.
Hey,
How's it going?
it's going well. How are you?
I'm doing great.
yeah,
I'm
it's
doing
going
great.
all right today.
So yeah. I feel like you're both sort of like pinch hitters at this point.
Oh,
If there's like if
If you're in a pinch,
if I'm in a pinch,
we'll hit something.
I will beg Travis and Brian Pody to come play. So it's happened. I need somebody to fill in like today, and yeah.
Yeah.
But
Travis
we
actually made me do this.
got okay.
Yeah.
I think what you mean to say, if I can put words in your mouth, is that he allowed you to realize how much you wanted to be here.
I
And
I
play.
opened the door to your potential.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So don't let me down.
Don't let any of us down. Did you get a chance to practice?
I played through it once.
Okay. The next question was going to be, do you know what song we're playing?
I wish.
I wish I knew.
It's
I wish I knew what song we were going to play.
I have good news. I have good news for both of you
Yeah.
because I do know.
What is
The
it?
song title is "I Wish."
Oh.
Yeah.
How fitting.
Yeah, we can carry this. we can keep this running.
This is a good
all
bit.
day. Yeah, yeah. No bits. This is no bit Thursdays. No, we can do bits. I'm fine with bits.
Isn't that how
Stevie
we
Wonder.
get paid?
By,
Yeah,
by,
we're getting
by
paid in
bits,
bits,
by
yeah.
paid in bits. Yeah, yeah, I think so. Bits and bobs.
Mm-hmm.
This bass. What do you know about this?
About the bass line?
Yeah, bass line and I Wish.
So this is a really classic bass line. You'll see it's really an adaptation of what like is really common for like gospel bass lines. You're really kind of walking between the 1 chord and the 5 chord. Nice chromatic motion. It's actually really easy. Like it's just a simple pattern that gets reused over and over and over again with little variations in between.
Sure.
And so you'll hear just the same line being played over and over and over again. It's it's really it's I think probably one of the more approachable bass lines to get into for Stevie Wonder, just because it really is just kind of one thing. It keeps happening.
And once you nail that pattern, you can start making room for those fills.
As I often say, as soon as you know how it goes, it gets a lot easier.
Sure. That's true. That's true. So maybe after we play through, we can take a look at that pattern.
Sounds
Just
great.
Break it down a little bit. And what's going on? You're playing lead today?
I
Yes,
am.
lead. So what's going on in this lead chart?
I looked at the rhythm chart and went, oh God, it's the horn part. And yeah, it's
So
challenging.
you're sticking with guitar.
Yeah,
guitar
yeah.
chart.
The lead part, I think it starts out as actually the guitar, and then towards the end it switches to like single note horn lines.
Okay.
It occurred to me after I played through it, I'm like, oh, most of these are in E flat. This one's in E standard, but it would actually be easier if it were in E flat because everything would sit nicely at like the 12th fret.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. So this one, what do we have? We have so the lead is in E standard, the bass is in E flat standard.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But it could be played in E flat.
Yeah. I could have retuned, but I didn't.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at I Wish, and then we'll break down some of those parts afterwards.
Sounds
Again,
great.
If you have questions, reach out to UB Jurassic in the chat.
Looking back on when I was a little nappy-headed boy,
hope everybody. Great job, both of you.
Oh, thanks.
I hope everybody else made sure to look at Travis when the slides came around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are serious slides. Like those are.
Oh,
those
they're.
look- I mean, they're fun. They're just.
They're crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. Do we know if those are counted?
Oh,
totally counted.
like in terms of like points, like accuracy.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have no idea.
Think, like-
I would imagine not, just because it's so wild.
Right. It's,
But
I think the idea is
that's,
just to.
I didn't know track it, so.
Right. Neither of you did. Which that's why you're my pitch hitters. So let's talk about grace notes.
Okay.
Because I feel like grace notes are incredibly important
Yes.
to the song, especially I feel like the grace notes are really what make that bass line stand out.
I think grace notes. Okay, so the quick primer on grace notes. So like you have a bass line like right, and like a grace note is where you're adding basically like a little note in between. So that or you're essentially there are two different types of grace note. There's called before the beat and on the beat. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's right before the beat. The pitch itself, my target pitch, is on the beat, so the grace note comes right before. Dum. As opposed to on the beat, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, which is on the beat. Most like funky bass lines always have these sort of what are called like I call them like garbagey open string grace notes, where
Sure.
you're just playing an open string regardless of whether or not it's in the key.
Right.
So like
It's more of a texture thing or a rhythmic thing than it is a tonal.
and so like this kind of bass line is really based off of like I said, the gospel tunes, right? Right? And that's like that gets funkier when you have those grace notes. Yeah, and it just adds a lot. Like I use them all the time. Like if I just have like a scale, like I'll really funk it up if I wanted to.
Just everything being
It's just
grace
a little
note.
hammer.
Yeah.
But you can also do it with you can do it with the plucking hand. Or you can do pull-offs.
That seems much more complicated.
Yeah. Or a really good one is you do a rake down. So like
Oh yeah.
that's
what you
really
see,
common.
You just sort of like land.
Yeah.
You land on the root note on the beat. Yeah.
You land whatever your target note is. Doesn't
Yeah.
have to be
Right,
necessarily
right.
the root of the chord, but you know the little grace notes add a lot of like a kind of they're like snare flams.
Sure.
That's you want that instead of you want that slight displacement really makes it nice and funky, moves it forward.
Now, would that be considered syncopation, or is that something completely different?
That's totally syncopation.
Okay.
It's not syncopation in the like more common sense. Like syncopation is simply displaced rhythm where you have rhythms off the beat. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, you can have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right. All those are different types of syncopation, but this is also syncopation. 1, 2, 3, and a 4 and a 1. Right. That last 16th note pickup into 1 is a syncopation.
Cool. And what's going on guitar? You have any grace notes here, or?
It just kind of doesn't stop. On
Yeah,
guitar.
it really does.
It just like goes and goes and goes. It's very pentatonic box. And like I was saying, if the guitar was tuned down a half step, if it was an E flat, then that pentatonic box would be at the 12th fret,
Right.
and everything
Right.
just kind of
Sit right
lines
there.
up right there.
So we've got funk, we've got soul, we've got gospel, R&B. Like there's a lot that goes in here, and I think was it Signed Still Delivered had the sitar part. So there's just the arrangements. I feel like with most of these songs, the arrangements are as much a part of the composition as the melody.
Absolutely.
rhythm.
I mean, I
It's-
think that's what makes Stevie Wonder stand apart, right? Is that his music wasn't just like cookie cutter. Like it really just took, you know, I think very appropriately, like he painted a very wonderful picture for us to listen to.
Yes.
If that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like he was able to put together sounds that hadn't really been put together and put them together with a rhythm that hadn't really been attached to those sounds.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. It still is. The guy's amazing.
Right.
I love Stevie Wonder so much. But like most of these bass lines were written by him on synth.
Yeah,
You know, like a lot of the most famous Stevie Wonder bass lines are synth lines, not bass lines.
but they sound really good on a bass.
Oh, they sound fantastic on bass, and like this is played on bass.
Yeah.
Like, But like this song in particular. But I mean, Stevie Wonder is like one of the best bassists, if you want to put it that way.
Sure. Yeah.
And if you just spend your time learning all the Stevie Wonder tunes, you will get all the gigs.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean like I think the biggest thing to take away from this, right? Like that line is pretty simple, right? You have this, right? Followed by this, followed by this. This part and this part are the
That's
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's really only two parts. Right? The thing about Stevie Wonder is that like if you think of time as having like, you know, a moment that is absolutely correct, and then a slight moment before that's early and a slight moment after that's a little bit behind.
Yeah.
Like you want to be just, I think, pulling back the beat a little bit as a bassist for this in particular. Like if you're playing this on top of the beat or ahead of the beat, right? It doesn't quite have that groove. You want to sit into the groove by sitting in the back of the beat.
Okay. So it's
And it's a subtle thing, but you're basically trying to offset a little bit from the bass drum.
so you wouldn't want to slow the band down.
Not
but
at
you
all.
You want to make sure that it doesn't. You want to make sure
Yeah.
the band isn't getting ahead.
There is a space between being exactly on time and being late, and you want to be right in between.
Okay.
And that is the funky groove pocket right
Yeah,
there.
you're in the pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Mhm, mhm.
So that's what in the pocket means. I thought I just meant you're locked in and you're not.
And there are times where you want to be on the other side where you're actually a little ahead,
Yeah.
not speeding up, but a little bit in front of the beat. And that's really fun too. Like guitarists deal with that too. Like you can view the guitar and the bass as the hi-hat and the bass drum of a drum set. Guitarists rush on accident. Yes, that's true. But no, I mean like hi-hat wants to be a little bit on top of the beat, bass drum wants to be a little bit behind the beat. And so you're constantly doing that little like taffy pull of time,
Right.
and that's what makes it really groovy, and that's what makes it feel really good. And that's how I feel like you can listen to like a funk groove and be like, why am I not like grooving? They're probably playing either like ahead of the beat or on time. There's something wrong in that taffy pull.
right.
Yeah,
right,
if everybody's just like super metronomic, it's not funky.
Yeah, exactly. But like other forms of music, like metal, is perfect for being metronomic.
Oh, yeah.
It
Right.
excels at being metronomic.
Right.
Being ahead or late actually detracts from the musical style. So it's a very stylistic thing. But yeah, this, I mean, you just want to really be. If you can't move, you're not playing Stevie Wonder.
Right.
I knew a drummer who his thing was like one, you know, on he would just make it later and later and later and later until one became four, just to like mess with everybody.
What?
That's awesome.
But like
I love it when people do that.
everything else was in time, but just
say-
one.
somebody who I think you're talking about that pocket being like
Yeah.
between directly on the beat and just a little bit behind
And being late.
and
yeah.
being late. I feel like that's something that Gary Clark Jr. does a lot, where he's always making sure he is in control of the tempo of the
Yeah.
band by being like just a little bit different than the rest of the band.
Yeah, I mean,
But not in a way that like it
If you look at a solid rhythm section, you can actually point out every single person is playing in a slightly different point in that time.
Yeah.
And we're talking like, you know, like a hair worth of time. You know, like it's very subtle and it takes a lot of time to listen to, and it takes a lot of practice. You know, usually it can't just be like, hey, you know, just play a little behind. People will tend to play late. So it's all about making sure that you understand this feeling and recognizing that's very, very stylistic.
Now, with would you consider that that timing where every member of a band having like just slightly different timing? Would you put that in a similar sort of aesthetic realm as panning, like stereo panning, to keep everything so that everything isn't focused in one place in your ears?
You could, I think you could make the comparison that like the displacement in time is comparable to the displacement in space that a really good mixer, a really good
Yeah.
mastering engineer would want to use. That's more for, creating clarity and creating a really great listening experience.
Yeah.
Whereas I think when we talk about time musically, we're talking about how we drive an implicit feeling that just comes with listening. How we actually move the body. I think, you know, on a more holistic aspect, there's this concept of like musical time versus like your heartbeat, which is a constant thing, because like we as humans always have a beat going 100% of the time or else.
Hopefully, right. Yeah.
And a musical beat is always working with or against that, essentially. And so you always have a very holistic and very human relationship to time being played musically, which is what makes us move.
Yeah.
And or what makes us like, you know, on the edge of our seats, you know,
have any sort of emotional response.
Yeah, I mean, like a horror movie would have like a, and that is something happening over time. We're doing that taffy pull intentionally to create an emotional response that we relate to in a very like sort of lizard brain human way.
Yeah, like we know. So you use that to cause some unease,
right?
Some suspense.
But I could take
mystery.
I could take that same chord, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not at all at unease.
Right?
You do that, yeah.
And all I've really done is change the way we're getting really abstract, but all I've really done is change the accent of time, right?
Yeah.
And that changes its emotional response, which is why I think funk is so awesome. It's because that's all it does. It takes a very simple thing. I mean, you hear this how many times?
And it's riveting every time.
Right.
Like
it's the groove that moves you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you both very much.
Sure.
For that. That was fun. Right. So we're about to take a little bit of a video break. While that's going on, we're going to give away 5 copies of this week's DLC, the Stevie Wonder Song Pack, on Steam. So while the video is happening, make sure you listen to UB Jurassic to see how you can win 1 copy of that song pack on Steam. So for the video, the bonus song, we were thinking about doing Sir Duke, which makes sense. It's the only other Stevie Wonder song that's in the library. But you beat us to it. Lion Wongsta put together the most recent community video, and it is for Sir Duke. So we've had a few community videos here on the streams since I've been here in San Francisco. I'm pretty sure for every one, I've been, like every time I've not been here for the stream, there's been a community video that we've debuted. So I finally get to debut one.
Oh, nice.
So this is the community video that you all created, you all pieced together, performed in for Sir Duke and Stevie Wonder. So we're going to take a look at that. The link to the YouTube location of that, which should be posted right about now, should be in the chat. We can post that a little bit later as well. But please enjoy yourselves playing Sir Duke while you win 5 copies of Stevie Wonder. Thank you both very much.
think that's the one.
All right. Almost did it. But at least an improvement.
That's an improvement hype.
Masterful performance.
And we are back. Welcome back. Thank you to everyone who contributed to that video for Sir Duke. And thank you again to Liawangsa for putting it together, getting everybody together, and editing it all together. And again, you should be able to find the link to that video on YouTube in the chat anytime now. Welcome back to the stream. I'm your host and the community developer for Rocksmith, Doug Lilly. Today we are looking at the Stevie Wonder song pack. I'd like to introduce our next guests who are not going to play a Stevie Wonder song. Next guest, hello, Dan Amrick.
Hi,
How's
Doug.
it going?
Do you have a standard of quality that you're looking for performances on this show?
No. I mean,
Then
look,
I am happy to join you today and play this song.
Okay, are you at 100%?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, you could
Well,
have-
it's not going to read 100%.
Sure.
But yes, I am at full difficulty.
And this will be the first time on stream that we've seen this.
Well, no, he has
Wait,
a name.
me?
Okay.
It's Akshay.
It's Akshay.
Also known as
Rakshay.
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 Or Funkshay.
Yeah.
I'll take Funkshay.
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 Yeah.
Have some-
I thought you got us in trouble for just a second.
Me too. I had to think about it 2 seconds.
Akshay, that's
Hi.
why I didn't introduce you, because I knew you were going to...
I knew it was going to
Drag
goof it
the
up right
show
away.
down, yeah.
Dang gummit.
Akshay, on bass, hold it down. You were
Howdy.
pretty happy, I think, about what we had to offer for the bonus track
Yeah,
today.
not one person in the chat got the guess right on who was going to do
Oh,
the bonus
really?
track.
Re-
They were
oh.
like, there was not one like, oh, maybe Akshay's going to show up. Maybe I don't know.
You're still a
And I
secret
was like,
weapon.
you know what?
Never-
I don't get it. I understand.
You're so underground, you even haven't heard yourself, right? Like that's. You're,
It's because
yeah.
you were in a beanie
true.
today.
That's true.
People
That is, I'm undercover in many ways.
Yeah. No, you're a rising star, Akshay.
Okay, hang on.
I know.
That's not.
I know when I'm sincere infrequently enough that it comes off as sarcasm, and I apologize for that.
Yeah,
But
by the end of the song, you'll be a legend. I guess.
see, he's taking a completely different direction. No, I'm sincere, without irony. You're a rising star.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you for being here.
I'm happy to be here. I'm a little nervous, but happy to be here.
Dan Emmerich. So
You meant the
you know
guitar.
What? You know what?
And now let's get
You know
back to what really
I don't
matters.
care about the guitar anymore.
No.
Shut up! It's a brand new guitar. Yeah.
It's a
I've been
nice
looking
guitar.
for a semi-hollow for a very long time.
Yes.
To the point where I had bought 2 other semi-hollow guitars and sold them or returned them or whatever. And this is a Squier Starcaster, which is a reissue of an offset. Sorry about that. Yeah, am I stabbing you in
No,
with
not
my foot
yet.
headstock?
It's good.
These were this was Fender's answer to the Gibson ES335 in
Okay.
the 70s, and they are legendarily Marmite. You either love them or you hate them.
I know what that expression meant. Thank you
Oh,
for
there
clarifying.
you go. And yeah, I like offsets. I like
Yeah.
Jaguars and Jagmasters and things like that. And so this is an offset body. And what I was missing was I couldn't find a traditional semi-hollow with a neck that I liked. And this has just a generic Fender C-shaped profile. And this is what my hand wants when I play guitar. Instantly comfortable.
Cool.
Shu played it this morning. He's like, it's so weird. It's like a Fender here and a Gibson there. And I'm like, yeah. And that's, he's like, it's kind of, it feels good, but it also feels kind of wrong.
It's
and
like
I'm like,
business in the
yeah.
front, party in the back.
Right, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
the mullet of
It's the
guitars.
mullet of
Yes.
guitars. Wow.
So yes, I've.
Is
you
it
know,
the width of the neck that you're looking for, or is it like
it's
what?
the sh-
What
it's
what's the feel
carve-
about it?
It's the
Okay.
carve of the neck. It's this C-shaped neck back here
On the
And-
back, okay.
Yeah, and also the radius of the frets. I don't like very flat fretboards.
Okay.
Gibsons were all 12-inch radius, and it felt uncomfortable to me. I'm used to a 9.5-inch radius, which is the curve of the.
That's specific. 9.6. Get out of
Yeah,
here.
no, I can't do that. I can do 10.
way.
No, I can do 10. So
Okay.
if you do 9.6, it's fine. But yeah, it's just a question of comfort, and this is
Sure,
this
right.
was comfort, and it's very stripped down. One volume, one tone. Traditionally, this model has 2 of each, like a 335 would. But yeah, so like if you want to play rock with a semi-hollow, this is kind of who that's aimed for, and this is the most affordable. I'm not going to
Sure,
say
sure.
cheapest. The most affordable
Yeah.
of the Squier
it is-
Affinity line for a semi-hollow.
And it is a pretty red.
It is a very
a nice
lovely
color.
candy
That
apple
is
red. Somebody
very nice.
online said that they thought it looked pink. And I was
Really?
like, well, check your monitor's calibration. Because trust me, this one is red.
Yeah, unless it's just emitting so much light.
Yeah, it could have just
That
been the
yeah,
lighting in that
yeah.
photo or something.
Maybe.
I don't know. But
So you said that nobody guessed who was going to play with the bonus track today. Did anybody guess what the bonus track is going to be today, since it's not going to be Sir Duke.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? So I had a few options I was going through. I had some funk stuff. I had some soul stuff, but I decided to go more in an R&B direction because I think that's another genre that there's not a lot of currently in the library. So I went with "Ain't No Mountain High Enough" by Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell.
You stayed classic Motown,
Classic
of
Motown.
which Stevie definitely is.
And I think considering what the bass is doing in this song, it
a lot.
was a nice sort of it brought everything together. So you were playing rhythm.
I'm playing the rhythm path.
Yes.
And this is the first time I think I've done a song on the show where I had to ask the note tracker for advice.
Really?
After, so I committed to this on Monday, and I thought I've got 3 days to practice. And what always happens here is those 2 days you wind up working and putting out fires and doing little things, and not sitting there and just practicing the song. So this morning I was like, "Oh my God, the bridge! It's so hard!" And so and the chord shapes are sort of partial chord shapes. And what I found was if I played them, if I fretted them as full bar chords and then just strummed the strings that the screen is suggesting, even though the note, the fingerprint zones are, well, play these as partial chords. And I found out it's because Shu is used to playing every chord that was ever, including the secret one that Jeff Buckley talks about. Shu knows that.
The off menu chord.
Wow.
So I have sort of modified this. There's a couple of chords where I'm not playing all 4 notes. Maybe I'll just play 3 notes because I can transition. My fingers just didn't want to transition the way that I was supposed to on this one.
But you took the chart and you were able to adapt to it.
I tried to adapt it, so I'm still probably, it's there's a lot of fast changes, and that's what's throwing me off. Another week or 2, I would probably feel a lot more confident.
We don't have
But
that
for
time.
now, I don't expect anyone to sit here and watch for 2 weeks while we figure this out.
And
I could probably use a couple another weeks.
Got it. Well, we don't have time for that either.
No.
What's
Can we
going
come
on?
back in 2 weeks and do it right?
What are we? I know. And well, I know for the lead, there's a lead and an alt lead for this song, and that is Marvin and Tammy's vocal parts. So if you had 2 players playing lead and alt lead, you could have a nice little duet, a vocal duet played on guitar.
That's not what we're doing today.
That is not what we're doing today.
No.
I mean, the bass is like the verses are the same-ish, very similar, and then each chorus is different. Basically,
in
it's
like a terrifying way, or
in a way that kind of makes sense. If I knew my chord shapes better,
Sure.
I'd be able to understand what the bassist is
but
doing.
at least you know what you would need to know to make it easier.
I know the unknown, my known unknowns.
That is
and
that
that's
is
half the battle.
that is not a bad place to
GI
be.
Joe. It's I'm ready to do this. My hands are getting only sweatier the more we talk around it.
Yeah,
well,
me
I think
too.
let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's
So
try
this
not
is,
to deface this classic.
Ain't No Mountain High Enough by Marvin Gaye with Tammy Terrell. And Tammy Terrell.
Yes.
Again, questions, UB Jurassic. You have a little bit of time, Dan?
Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby.
You need me, call me, no matter where you are, no matter how far.
Don't worry, baby.
Just call my name, I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry, 'cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough
To keep me from getting to you, baby. Remember the day I set you free. I told you you could always count on me, darling. From that day on, I made a vow I'll be there when you want me some way, somehow. Oh, baby, there
ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough.
to keep me from getting to you, baby. Oh, no, darling.
No wind, no rain, or winter's cold can stop me, baby.
No, baby.
'Cause you're
Yeah. All right. Doing it now.
Modulation.
If you ever need a helping hand, I'll be there on the double. And when I did,
Oh yeah, nail the ending. Let's do this.
That guitar sounds good, Dan.
The guitar does sound pretty good.
Thank you.
Good. You all did a really, really good job.
Well,
thank
yeah.
you.
Well, let's find out. What's the tail of the tape? Because I was never able to get more than 86% at my
Well, it's
desk, so
okay.
I'm not expecting to get any.
Oh, you breached 91.
that.
Oh my
Not
God!
bad,
Okay,
not bad,
that
not
is
bad.
like that
86 is
never
alright.
happens.
I told you the camera adds or removes 5%.
No, it always removes 5% for me.
Mm,
That's the. I'm very surprised at that.
Well, now you need to figure out what happened today that changed.
I think adding pure fear and adrenaline probably was. I mean, again, I love this song. I even wore my
It's
Star
very
Lord shirt
good.
in honor of
Yeah.
the Guardians
Yeah.
connection. I was
Oh,
like, I want
sure,
to do this
Mhm.
right. And and then I found out I can't do this right, but I might be able to do it well.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
sure.
how about good enough?
Yeah,
and
mean,
I kind of feel like
I enjoyed listening to it.
we were talking in the hall before we came in, and it's sort of like there's a lot of personal expression. This is the Funk Brothers. This is the classic Motown backing band.
Yeah.
The guitarist was Eddie Willis. And, again, it changes a lot. If you're trying to play one-to-one to what the game is asking you to
Yes.
do, it's easy to blow it. But if you just make it your own, if you just find those grooves, they found the grooves, and
Yeah.
they're canon because they were just in the groove and playing what felt
Yes.
right to them.
And like you
In a band
listening-
situation, that would have sounded probably okay.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
With more
listening,
practice.
listening to that, listening to that
One or
bass
2 more
line,
weeks.
like that bassist was having a good time. That bassist
sure. Oh, yeah.
knew what's going on.
You have 3
and
minutes.
just
Go nuts.
Had it, yeah, it was like okay, it was like I'm just gonna play. I'm just gonna play syncopated randomly for about 4 measures.
Mhm.
That's
Oh,
fun.
that bridge
Oh, that was
is just
fun.
like, all right,
Yeah.
root, 5th, octave, let's do it.
Yeah, yeah. So
All
just
right.
have fun with it.
Yeah.
It's the
Get-
difference between playing a song and playing a game. And if
Right.
you're trying to play a game for a maximum high score, this is the kind of thing where you're going to feel discouraged. But
Yes.
if you just get into the groove of the song and you learn how to play the music
And you listen to yourself.
and you listen to yourself, you will find it very satisfying.
Yeah,
Yeah. Very fun song.
Very fun song. Thank you both for playing it.
Yeah.
Right now, in case you missed it, as I mentioned before, the Stevie Wonder song pack draws upon a long tradition, a lot of different influences, and I think definitely for sure soul and Motown are amongst those. So the Four Tops song pack came out back in 2017, October of 2017. That included Bernadette, I Can't Help Myself, Sugar Pie Honey Bunch. It's the same old song, and Reach Out, I'll Be There. All of those were available back from 2017. Also, if you are interested in some of the funk hits that we have, well, there was a whole pack of funk hits that included Good Times by Chic, Give Up the Funk, Tear the Roof Off the Sucker by Parliament, which was almost today's bonus song, and Super Freak by Rick James. That song pack came out way back in 2012. Additionally, Sir Duke from the community video, that was with the Regal Singles song pack from 2015. That also included Queen's Another One Bites the Dust, Queensryche's Silent Lucidity, the Subway's Rock and Roll Queen, the Toadies' Possum Kingdom, I get it. Regal Singles song pack back in 2015. And the bonus track that we did end up playing, Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell's Ain't No Mountain High Enough, that was on the mixtape song pack, which included Hooked on a Feeling by Blue Swede, Moon Age Daydream by David Bowie, Go All the Way by Raspberries, and Come and Get Your Love by Redbone. All those songs available in Rocksmith. We are winding up today's stream. We've got one more song to play. We've got one more giveaway that's going to come after that song. And then, as always, some notes, some logistical matters that we will need to attend to towards the end of the stream. Nothing major. Just kind of, if you've been here before, if you're familiar with what we do here, you're going to know what we do. If you're not familiar with what we do here, say this is your first time, well, first off, welcome. I'm very glad you're here. My name is Doug Lilly. I'm the host and community developer for Rocksmith, and I want to thank you for coming. We've got one more song from the Stevie Wonder song pack left to play, and then we will be able to continue on with our days. And I think we're probably close enough to say hello to the final guests of the day while they finish tuning. Directly to my left, tune it up.
What's up, dog?
Up. Oh, sorry. Ryken is currently tuning.
What a
that's a pretty guitar. Is that
This is
Brian Shu's guitar that he. Okay,
He
okay.
specifically requested I play it.
Oh, really?
So he can see it in action.
Oh, okay.
I think. It's awesome guitar.
I forget. Did he introduce that guitar last week on the stream?
I think so.
You
I
think
don't
so?
know about
He
that.
did?
but
Okay.
He
Did he?
bought it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody
I think
remembered.
he bought it like
Um,
last week.
So, Rye, you are going to play the lead path on Superstition, while Andrew
Yes.
Levin,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to play bass. Now, this is
Yeah.
one of yours.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Yeah. So I think people were already talking about earlier how Stevie Wonder is kind of one of the best bass players of all time. I would say Stevie Wonder is, if I had to pick a favorite artist of all time, Stevie would be my dude. I mean, there's obviously days where I prefer listening to other stuff, but
Sure.
he's probably one of the only people that's remained on my playlist since I was like 10 years old. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
and as a bass player, I mean, yeah, I think he's one of the best key bass players of all time,
Yeah.
easily. That's one of the reasons I chose to play bass, even though I note tracked the song. And also, the lead part is definitely very difficult. I tried to transcribe the clavinet part as faithfully
Yeah.
as possible.
Yeah.
There are actually 8 clavinet parts layered on top of each other, so it wasn't physically possible to get all of them.
Yeah.
But I tried to get as much as I could.
It
And
captured the gist of it, though.
thank
Yeah,
you.
try to get as much of that texture in there as possible.
I appreciate that.
Um,
And it's hard, but the bass part's even tougher, and I didn't want to subject somebody to have
Sure.
to learn that whole thing, so I did
Um,
it.
So you said the lead path sort of represents as many clavinets as you can get in there.
Yeah.
What does the rhythm path cover?
Rhythm path is kind of more of a hum and strum sort of version of that. If I could get a little volume, right, you have the kind of... That's kind of the main...
Yeah.
The main gist of the part. And definitely when I was learning this song as a kid, I was learning it, lower, but... I would never play the whole clavinet part live, right?
Right.
And so I kind of just simplified it to be the gist of the clavinet part in the rhythm path, and
Okay.
it's very similar to the lead. It's just more you can just funk out with it,
Okay.
you know.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look. This is Superstition by Stevie Wonder. And after this, we've got some questions that I forgot to ask that hopefully I won't forget again.
I love that wah tone.
Very superstitious.
Such a good song. Oh yeah.
I don't want to see my score on that.
Yeah,
It's
same
got
here.
so many notes.
They just yeah,
I did nail the one lick.
Yeah.
Wait. That's one of the few things I did get.
Did you get the what is it?
Well,
Well.
I played all those notes. I don't know if it was in the right order at that time, but those notes were covered.
All right. Yeah, just trying to listen to the clavinet parts, and trying to follow that. That must have been challenging.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time on it, man.
I assume there's like a lot of sort of like, I don't want to say best guesses, best informed guesses.
Yeah, I had to use channel mixer, and I had to be like, okay, that's going to be possible there. That's not going to be possible there. I mean, there's also like another clavinet part that's like just kind of like, I think it's like, I'm in a different tuning. I think, it's just kind of like this, like.
Mostly probably.
Yeah, and it was really hard to hear exactly what that is, so I kind of just left that out.
It seems like there was enough to play.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there's a lot of judgment calls because I worked on that too. Like I think on the transcription check and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, because there's so many like ghost notes and extra notes. You're like, does this really, like, is this like meet the threshold to be in the note way, or is it like just too soft a note? It is just gonna stump people.
Sure.
But everything you had is like, it's in there.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I can hear it.
So you're
when
playing.
it goes by fast, you're like, is that? And then you slow down. It's like,
Yeah.
So I have a few questions. Hopefully they're not all for people who are no longer here on the stream, just because they asked and I forgot to read them earlier.
Yeah.
So there was a question from Matt Al way earlier that asked, "Is this tone mimicking the electric piano?" I believe that was happening during "I Wish."
I don't know, because for I Wish you got the.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah.
I think that was actually. I think that he was trying to mimic guitar on that recording.
Okay.
So that
Oh,
tone,
I see.
if it was trying to mimic that tone, it would be trying to mimic a piano tone, trying to mimic a guitar tone.
I love it.
And that would be a little much.
I
so.
really hope that's what was happening.
Yeah.
I want that to be the case.
Yeah.
And then Matt, I had another question. So did you hear when Travis and Brian Pody were
Yeah.
discussing? So they're talking about being like just behind the beat.
Yeah.
Matt also wants to know when songs have a bass behind or just ahead of the beat, are they note tracked? Like, are they charted like that?
Yeah, so some people do and some people don't. My personal opinion is don't ever do that, because it's going to look off the beat and it's going to be really hard to read.
So if
you
you're
know?
if the note shows up slightly ahead of the beat, there's a good chance it's going to indicate to the player that it's further ahead of the beat than than you intend.
Yeah, and at a certain point when you start getting into the minutia of like 30-second notes, or even probably smaller than that, like a 64th note, it just doesn't matter. It's gonna detect the same, and
Like, intuition is going to do more for you than
yeah, like listening
a
as
few
you're
pixels worth
playing,
of-
and
okay.
then just cop that feel. Because we got to maintain staying on the grid
yeah.
as much as possible. It's like otherwise you're just opening up like then everything's suspect. Well, is it totally on or is it so
and the other thing
it
is
reads
that
better too when everything's coming down consistently too. Otherwise, it just seems uneven.
difficult to
sometimes,
yeah,
follow
Unless
along
you
with.
do that with like every single note, but then it may not be dragging on every single note.
and the other thing too is there are certain situations where you want to be able to play behind the beat and play ahead of the beat. However, there are lots of great players who play ahead of the beat, and there are lots of great players who play behind the beat. And at the end of the day, your relationship to the beat is really kind of your voice and the way that you play. And some people are going to prefer guys who play a little bit ahead of the beat, and some people are going to prefer people who play a little bit behind the beat. And that's just that's a It's a personal call. If you are learning, and I would assume if you're, we're all learning all the time, right? So if you're developing your voice, one great thing to do is try and mimic players who you really like, right? So in order to do that, rather than worrying about, am I ahead of the beat here, am I behind the beat here, just listen to the bass player if you're playing bass and really try and mimic the minutia of what they're doing,
Yeah.
It's like if I'm doing an impression of Doug, right?
Please.
Welcome to the Rocksmith stream. I remain Doug Lilly.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I will. My only complaint is that you managed to get through that sentence all the way in your first try.
And I didn't say the word
Yeah. Got me again. Okay. I think we're about ready to wrap up.
Did you want to talk about that one quick
Did we
fact about little factoid?
Please do.
Oh yeah.
Please do.
We were just talking about factoids because I like facts.
We like facts.
Yeah.
And factoids.
And Wikipedia. So apparently this song was not written to be released on a Stevie Wonder record. It was expected to be released on a Jeff Beck record. So this song happened when Jeff Beck and Stevie Wonder were in the studio jamming together. Then it was originally going to be it was originally going to be a Jeff Beck song, not a Stevie Wonder song.
And Jeff Beck was going to release a version, and then Stevie was going to release.
No, it was going to be like Jeff Beck
Just Jeff Beck.
featuring Stevie Wonder.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's right.
And I guess Jeff Beck came up with that drum intro, but I think Stevie came up with the rest of it.
And I think Stevie ended up playing drums on this recording.
Yeah, he did end up playing drums on this.
Something
But
that John 308 pointed out.
yeah, and bass. I mean, that's
And
the other
bass,
thing
yeah.
is that bass line. Like, I actually simplified that, if you can believe it, because there was a lot of things that are like, you just can't. Like
little
I did,
flitters.
but you can't do the as fast as he did it and actually make it sound good. But yeah, so it was originally going to be a Jeff Beck song, but then Barry Gordy heard it, I guess, and was like, "This is going to be a hit. Let's just release it."
This should be your hit that you write. Okay. Well, thank you both very much for coming and playing and joining us today. We are going to have our last giveaway of the day with the second of 2 Ernie Ball prize packs. So if you are in chat and you want to win this Ernie Ball prize pack, please, first say goodbye to Andrew and Rye. Thank you for playing. I think their mics have been cut, so they can't say anything. Oh, there was one more question. We'll get to that question after this. This is fine. So if you want to win everything that you see on your screen, please listen to what UB Jurassic is saying in the chat right now. You do need to follow the channel in order to win. And if you win, you will get a whisper from Brian Turner, that once more is our community manager based in North Carolina. He will get your information from you, including your name, your shipping address, and your telephone number. We need all that information in order to get your prize to you. Good luck on that raffle. And I think if I can get Dan Amrick to answer one more question, this one from Beatmaster80. Beatmaster80 wants to know what are the woods on that Squire? So if we're able to,
What are the woods
What
on
is
this
your
Squire?
What is your new Squire?
Well, the
made
neck
of?
is 2-piece maple, which means the back is maple, and then the fretboard is placed on top of it.
Is another
It's
maple.
also maple. Oh, actually, it looks like it's a 1-piece maple neck. I'll be darned.
That's probably
Usually,
easier.
the more affordable guitars are. Then the back is maple, the sides are maple, and the top is maple. So believe it or not, this is like now maple is bright, which is good. Again, like I said, this is a semi-hollow that's really kind of designed for rock.
Yes.
And I wanted a semi partly because I love Foo Fighters, and I was like, oh, I want Dave Grohl tone, and all he does is turn up. He has no effects. I was like, I want to get all the pedals that Dave Grohl owns. No, it just turn up.
Just
So
keep
yeah.
turning it up.
Maple is sometimes is usually used in like traditional hollow bodies, but or at least a maple top. So yeah, this is the air that it's displacing makes it kind of darker, and the humbuckers give it a darker tone. But the woods used are kind of bright woods. So
does
that's
it sort
where
of
you get the balance.
would it balance? Okay.
Yeah, that's the
Interesting.
goal.
Oh.
So there you know.
Thank you very much, Dan.
Happy
That
to
was the last of the questions that we had. So right now, all we have left is to say goodbye. We will be back next Thursday with another stream featuring another song pack. And if you want an idea of what's coming on that song pack, I'm going to drop my laptop on the ground and break it.
It
Oh,
jumped at
welcome
you.
back, Ryken.
Oh, Rye's glasses are here.
If you, what was we were talking about? We were talking about next week's
Next
song
week
pack.
we're gonna have
We
more
will
more
have
songs, right? More music.
That will be out next week. And if you want an idea of what's coming tomorrow morning on our
Why don't you just
forums.
tell them?
Sure. No, I'm not. I did. It's not on my notes, Dan. I don't write down what's coming next week.
Tell them the DLC, you coward.
Because I know I'll read it. No, I'm not going to do that. Next week, if you do want to know, either pester Dan, please.
I'm just going to tell you.
I'm
just,
him at
I'm not. Yeah, you know. I'm not going to tell you.
We made a MooBot command to put your phone number.
Thanks.
So
not my new music project, but my direct phone number. That's wonderful. Thanks very much. I released another song this week.
Yes.
At herofalls.com. It's free to listen to, free to stream, free to download. You can throw me money if you want, but that's not really the point.
What kind of music is it?
It's kind of like sort of, I guess, alt pop, pop rock. If you like Jonathan Colton or Bare Naked Ladies or any of the that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's singer-songwritery, story-based stuff about superheroes. But it doesn't scream superheroes, but they're all like every song is a different story about a different superhero or supervillain in this fictional town that I've built.
All written by you.
Yeah.
Performed by you.
Yeah, with some special guests, with some very, very talented people.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so.
Wonderful. Unfortunately, I can confirm that next week will not be a Hero Falls.
No, somebody, a kind person said, so when are we getting Hero Falls DLC? And I said, I told Anthony that my licensing terms are extremely reasonable, but I would not count on that happening. And frankly, there's better things to learn from other people's music, trust me.
Well, but if you do want to see what's coming next week, tomorrow morning on the Rocksmith forums, which you can get to by going to rocksmith.com, clicking the link at the top of the webpage that will take you to the forums at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. That's around 7 a.m. Pacific, and then something else UTC. I'm really bad at that. I think it's 8 hours. It might be up to 11.
It switches between 7 and 8 due to the way that our clocks constantly
So I
switch.
always kind of hope somebody in chat can handle that for me.
And in indeterminate time in Europe.
Yeah. Tomorrow morning, we have a clue from our S222, Rolling Stone 222, that will be presented so that you can find out at least one song in next week's pack. And that will get you the name of an artist, the name of a song, and probably the pack name. That usually is the case. So all that will be available to learn and to help, because these clues, they're puzzles that you can help solve to discover the answer. So that all happens tomorrow morning in the Rocksmith forums. We're all on social media. Twitter and Instagram, we are at Rocksmith Game. Facebook, we are facebook.com/Rocksmith. You can find us there. So reach out to us, and we will see you next week. Let's take one more look at the Stevie Wonder song pack.